Hi, Barry. Can you see us?
Yes, Yutha, I can see in here.
You see the caption?
Let me turn it on.
How are you, Miss Joyce?
Here we go. Yes.
Okay.
It's very nice. I think it was my turn. Thank you. Right? I'm bad enough to just, I don't care. Yeah. Yeah.
How are you?
Do well.
Bring some
I
questions.
think it was very similar.
He was what?
It looks like this summer.
You always been my friend.
I was out. I wasn't going back home to change. Was sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, you just.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I like it.
You mean for today? It's fine for.
Yeah.
I'm so serious. It's like.
I know, I mean.
It's about you. Just what. Say I'm old, it's the only time that sounds like.
We gotta talk.
Okay, I was here, almost here. Start to
Days at a time. So it's probably good for those days. Trying to make this was in really far. They don't shoot it down. But I don't really.
Sorry, but I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Good evening, all. Welcome to the executive meeting for Community Board 9, the month of June. My name is Victor Edwards. I have the pleasure of serving as chair of the board. Most times, call the meeting to order at 6:37. Make the motion to adopt the agenda.
So move. A second.
You just. Area, second by. And a motion to adopt the minutes with any necessary corrections.
So moved. Trying to somebody else to do it. Second.
Okay. Nice. Okay, I have quite a long agenda this evening, so I won't waste any time. And we are going to jump into our first presentation. That is by on 1727 Amsterdam Ave. And we have HPE is here, along with BRC to make a presentation, correct? And HHC, thank you. All right, I'll turn it over to the presenters.
We also have some copies. Only you.
So if we could get those from for this presentation just to introduce themselves, so we know who you are, starting in the back.
So hi, it's Deborah Morris, I'm the Senior Director for Planning and Real Estate at New York City Health and Hospitals. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joy Reeser. I'm the Deputy Director of the Finance Team at UCB.
Great.
Justin Mullen, the Senior Project Manager for the Government Affairs Division at HPD.
All right.
I'm Jenna Klipska, Senior Borough Planner within the Manhattan Planning Team.
Great.
I'm Nicole Clare, URC's Chief Real Estate Development Officer.
Hi, I'm Kyle Vermont, the RC Director of Executive.
I'm not.
Okay.
I didn't want you to get up and get cheered. Yeah, problem. All righty, thank you for coming and for the presentation you're about to present to us.
Just share.
Walter doesn't have a copy, I'm gonna go make some. He doesn't need it for all of it.
The floor is yours.
You'll share.
Can everyone on Zoom see our presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning.
Yeah. Guessing. Yeah. Jim?
Yeah.
Okay, for the mic. Okay. Okay. So, good evening, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Anita Matitska. I'm a senior borough planner within the Manhattan planning team at HPD. As mentioned earlier, we're also joined by representatives within HPD, BRC, our development partner on this project, and representatives from health and hospitals. And we're excited to be here tonight presenting to MCB9 Greenler project update on the Hilltop Apartments project. We also want to take a second to acknowledge that many members of this board may already be familiar with this project, but we're looking to provide a comprehensive overview of what this project entails and also some updates to the process. Cool. All right. Okay, so our agenda for this evening will be as follows. And so moving on to project background, in August 2019, HPD designated the developer for this project, Bowery Residence Committee, to develop 1727 Amsterdam through HPD's supportive housing request for qualifications. And the RFQ was a call for proposals from a pre-qualified list of developers with expertise in supportive housing to develop supportive housing on city-owned land. BRC was chosen off this list to redevelop 1727 Amsterdam, and sponsors from this list and selected on a match with sites on a rolling basis. Since designation, BRC has done several forms of community outreach beginning in the fall of 2022 and most recently spring 2024. In 2024, health and hospitals began the process of amending their existing operating agreement from 1969 to include 9 healthcare properties that were under their management, including 1727 Amsterdam. In spring 2025, council action amended the agreement to include 8 of those 9 properties. As the amended operating agreement did not include 1727 Amsterdam, it has become necessary to utilize Euler, facilitate the disposition of the development site, and why we are here tonight presenting to you all. We also want to take a second to acknowledge that New York City is in the midst of an affordable housing crisis, guided by the Housing Blueprint and Where We Live plans. New York City is working on an ambitious effort to create affordable housing and supportive housing for low-income New Yorkers across the city. And there's immense need for supportive housing across the city. In 2024, Health and Hospital provided care to approximately 70,000 patients experiencing homelessness, of which half are mutual clients between the Department of Homeless Services and Health and Hospitals. Harlem Hospital alone provides care to 5,000 patients experiencing homelessness. 1727 Amsterdam presents a unique opportunity to develop an existing healthcare community facility site with much needed affordable and supportive housing, and also new and improved healthcare space. So moving on to project overview. The proposed development will be developed on Manhattan Block 2060 on city-owned lot number 1, which is currently utilized as a community facility space occupied by 2 tenants. The existing building is beyond its useful life and in need of redevelopment. The applicant for this ULURP application is HPD, and our development partner is BRC. And we are anticipating a fall 2025 ULURP certification. The new 9-story as-of-right building will include approximately 200 residential units, of which up to 120 will be supportive housing units. The units will be available to supportive, senior, and low income households. The proposed project will also include new and improved community facility space for the Emma Bowen Community Service Center. The project will be developed under HPD's Supportive Housing Loan Program, otherwise known as SHLP, and the non-supportive units will be affordable to households earning up to 60% AMI. And to facilitate the project, HPD is proposing the following land use action, a UDOT designation and UDOT approval, and the disposition of the development site. Here we have some additional context of where the project is located, and now I'll pass it to Nicole and Kyle from BRC to speak in more detail about the proposed project.
Thank you, Agnes, for that. Here. All right, but my back to you. Hello again, everyone. Like I mentioned, I'm Nicole Claire, BRC's Chief Real Estate Development Officer. Oh, and then slides. As Agatha mentioned, when we talk about BRC is a not-for-profit developer and social service provider that was founded in 1971 on the Bowery, hence our name. But we've grown since then. The bullets here just describe our focus on housing, which even since we originally brought the project and have met with the community board, we continue to expand. So to summarize, we have currently over 650 units of supportive housing. Another term they might use is congregate housing, meaning in a building, in one building with supportive and affordable together in 4 boroughs, Manhattan, Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens, and over 450 scatter site supportive housing units across the city. In terms of BRC's results, when we think about our focus on the outcomes, we're very much focused on our clients and our tenants. We served last year almost 13,000 discrete individuals in over 30 programs, close to around 35 programs throughout the city of New York. Nearly 7,000 of those clients successfully completed those programs and moved forward to greater stability in health and housing. We wanted to discuss specifically our focus in Upper Manhattan. So those programs include an OMH, that's New York State Office of Mental Health, funded community residence on West 132nd Street. Just last month, we opened a new safe haven facility, an expanded safe haven facility at East 115th Street. It was actually moved from 182nd Street. And later this summer, we'll be opening a new women's residence in Inwood on the corner of 10th Avenue and 212th Street. Just last fall, actually in December, we expanded our housing programs and now currently operate 1,100 units, which is roughly 30% of our housing. When we talk about the Hilltop Apartments project development specifically, as Agatha mentioned, it will involve the demolishing of the existing structure, which has become functionally obsolete, and the building of a new 9-story mixed-use affordable housing building. The residential apartments in the building, all of them, 100% of the residential apartments are affordable to households earning up to 60% of area median income. The next slide actually talks about, the next 2 slides talk about what that actually means in terms of what those incomes are. What we will provide when we talk about supportive housing, which Kyle will also talk a little bit more about what that means. We have on-site staff who work with the housing tenants. They can provide social services to all of the tenants on the building. They have a special focus on those supportive tenants to keep them stably housed, but we provide services to all tenants and meet their needs where they are. Other specific amenities of the building will include 24/7 security, staffed front desk, a well-lit exterior for the neighborhood. In terms of the amenities inside of the building, we have a range of indoor and outdoor community facilities, community spaces, including multi-purpose rooms, areas for socialization, landscape courtyard and terraces, laundry facilities, And as Agatha mentioned, and as we had planned for many years, new community facility space designed specifically with and for the Emma L. Bowen Community Service Center. Sorry, just one hiccup. Thank you. Focus again on the residential apartments, of which there are 200. Those include apartments for seniors, the supportive units that we mentioned, and the low-income units. It's also under the HPD Supportive Housing Loan Program. 25 of the supportive units will be set aside for seniors, and I think the number, actually 23 of the low-income units will be set aside for ages 62 plus. So this chart shows the affordability, as we talked about, 60%, 120 of the units are supportive units for formerly homeless households. 17% affordable at 40% of area median income, 23% supportive of 60% area median income. There will be a live-in superintendent, so that brings the grand total to 200 apartments. I don't know what's going on. It's a little tricky. Again, do this. Can I sleep in there? Oh, yeah, the slideshow I think is. We just should turn off the keyboard. Okay. Try to learn this. Okay, let's try. As I mentioned, just giving a little bit more detail on what those income levels entail. You know, I can also mention that there are a range of unit sizes, studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom units. All of the 60% supportive units are all, oh, that's what that slide shows. Thank you. You can go to the next one. So when we talk about the incomes, 40% of area median income starts at around 45,000 for a single person, up to 75,000, depending on the size of the family, meaning rents in the range of $900 to a little over $1,500 a month. And 60% area median income refers to households earning 68,000 a month annually, up to 113,000 annually, with a range of a rent of just shy of $1,400 a month, up to $2,400 a month. Next, I'll turn it over to my colleague, Kyle.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the Director of External Affairs for BRC. And today I'll be speaking about supportive services and a lot of the community elements related to this project. Since I last saw some of you on the board meeting last late spring, I suppose, I actually had a chance to go back and forth with Victor a bit to talk about supportive services and what that means. Just to clarify, because I know there can be some misconceptions about what that actually means. So let's dive right in. It's supportive housing. It's not just a model, it's a neighborhood strengthening solution that creates homes built for belonging, dignity, and lasting stability. These are neighbor-centric homes, so they're permanent, they're affordable housing with on-site support services, as Nicole just mentioned, tailored to New Yorkers facing complex challenges such as chronic health conditions, substance use disorders, and so forth. So supportive housing is not a shelter and it's not transitional housing. It can keep people housed for good. So people living here, this can be their forever home. So when BRC is involved, as Nicole mentioned, you know, we have affordable housing stock. There's a 94% chance that housing stability is sustained by those tenants. So the tenants are referred through New York City's coordinated entry system with a focus at Hilltop Apartments on mutual clients of DHS and NYC H&H. And they'll come from like the Harlem Hospital and other upper Manhattan facilities. Services are funded by the city and state and include case management, 24/7 security, and wraparound support services. BRC currently operates over 1,000 units of low-income housing, with 500 more in our development pipeline. And supportive housing is more than just a model, as I mentioned, it's a commitment to community-rooted living. So, you know, these homes are built on the belief that when residents thrive, the entire community thrives. So our approach here tends to be personal, stable, and human-centered. You know, we're helping people not just live here, but belong here. We want them to be fully integrated into the community. Maybe they could come to some of the community board meetings and get involved in other activities. So some of the on-site services that we just mentioned, you know, they will help residents thrive in their homes and contribute to community life. They'll have access to comprehensive healthcare, life skills, coaching from budgeting to nutrition, helping to obtain critical benefits like supplemental security income, Medicaid, Medicare, enrichment opportunities, workforce development, community art, fitness classes, resident meetings. And we'll have on staff, and our staff will ensure that they're safe, they're supported, and they live with dignity. We'll have a clinical supervisor, 8 case managers, a healthcare navigator, an activity specialist, 24/7 desk clerks and full-time operations team, a residence manager, administrative support, and on-site maintenance. So again, it's not about managing crises, it's about building resilience. These homes are designed to last with the right services to help residents stay, grow, and become long-term members. So, Emma Bowen Center. As Agatha mentioned, the existing building is beyond its useful life and in need of redevelopment. I'm aware that some members of the community board already toured the temporary space that Emma Bowen will be occupying, and I'm grateful that they received a letter of support for that temporary space. Currently, they offer therapeutic preschool for children with behavioral and developmental issues, various programs for adults and seniors. They signed a letter of agreement to return to 1727 Amsterdam Avenue upon new construction completion. So they're coming back, rest assured. And the temporary relocation of the Emma Bowen Center. We expect that to take place in summer 2025. And the cost of the relocation will be paid by the developer in a purpose-built space. Just so everyone's aware, the temporary space will be located at 520 West 135th Street. That's 520 West 135th Street. All the services will be continued and there will be no loss of services. So we've worked diligently with the center staff for 16 months to design a purpose-built new space that will facilitate their programming. So it's going to be a new 3-story, 21,000 square foot community facility that incorporates best practices to effectively deliver services to adults, families, and children. They will continue to offer all their current services in a more efficiently designed space with a comparable rental rate. So the program highlights will include a therapeutic preschool, play and speech therapy programs, rainbow clubhouse, community food pantry, clinical support spaces, and space for administrative and board offices. Now let's talk about some of the community benefits. So this development isn't just about building housing, as I mentioned. I keep reiterating this because I feel like it's very important. It's about strengthening the neighborhood. The apartments will deliver lasting benefits that help these residents stay, thrive, and feel proud of their new homes. It's going to be 100% affordable, 200 affordable and supportive housing units for formerly homeless and low-income households earning up to 60% AMI, as Nicole just outlined. We'll have the new and improved Emma Bowen space. We'll be creating approximately 250 construction jobs with a commitment to local hiring. We'll have 20 to 25 full-time permanent jobs on site. Those include case management, operations, and maintenance. And job fairs and workforce development will be targeted to CB9 residents. And housing lottery workshops and application support for local residents will also be provided. So we can just show people how to go online, go to HPD's website and apply for housing through the portal. Just to quickly go through the outreach in September 2022, there was initial outreach by BRC to the community board land use committee meeting. In early 2023, we spoke with the community board's health committee. And also in 23, we presented to the full board. In March 24, when I recently joined BRC, I came up with Nicole and we presented to the PTAs of PS 153 and PS MS 368. And I also presented the project to CB9 in April 2024. So we've secured 9 support letters from various stakeholders in the community. They're listed on this slide. And we, BRC has offered and will continue to offer tours of our existing developments to interested CB9 and community members, so you can get a sense of how we function operationally and also see the integrity of the structures that we build. We will continue our ongoing engagement in keeping with BRC's Good Neighbor policy. But after the fact, we want to keep the lines of communication open. We'll have someone on staff if there are any issues that arise during construction or after the building is open. You have someone there that you can contact. In the meantime, you also have my information. You can reach out directly to me if you have any questions or concerns. And with that, I'll pass it back over to Agatha, and I thank you all for your attention and your time.
Great, so thank you, Kyle. This is just our last slide. Thank you for bearing for our lengthy presentation. But as mentioned, we're coming here this evening as part of a pre-ULURP project update. So we're anticipating to begin ULURP sometime in the fall of 2025, which is when we'll have our ULURP certification. This is just a standard ULURP timeline, putting ULURP completion at spring 2026. And that's the end of our presentation, and now we'll take any questions or comments. Thank you, everyone.
Cool. But yes,
So I make a mention that the election body has started, since for everybody who's, I apologize for this brief
Wait.
interruption.
Wait, are we done with the 1727
No,
portion?
No,
just hold on 1 second, Barry.
one announcement. For those volunteers participating in the election buddy, check your email for the sample ballot, which will run from 7 p.m., which is approximately now, to 8 p.m. So just make sure you vote and get the information back, and at about 8:15, between 8:15 and 8:30, we'll have a wrap up. Thank you, and I apologize for the interruption we needed to.
Monique,
Uh,
good question.
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
2 quick ones. The first question is, and maybe I didn't read the slide correctly, so please clarify. It said units, 120 studio units? That was
Yes, that is correct. I can go back to the slide.
Okay, so that, I just want to make sure I understood that. So for me, hearing that, it seems like then the focus is a single person as opposed to families. So that is an area of concern that it is an area of concern. But my second question is, how many residents from CB9 will be given priority to access those units? Since I understand you're trying to bring people in and make them a part of the community, but the people who reside here, many of them are challenged. And we want to make sure that, we're looking after those who are in this community. So those are my questions.
Yeah, so I can click on the first part of the question. So as you can see here, the 120 studios are for formerly homeless households. So those are the supportive units that we're talking about. Single individuals are the highest need population within supportive housing. So that's why this is the focus for this specific building on studios to meet that need. As mentioned by Kyle, also BRC in partnership with Health and Hospitals intends to partner with local based hospitals, including Harlem Hospitals, to make sure that patients from Harlem Hospitals who are seeking supportive housing are able to be placed in this building.
Okay, and then the
second
part of my question.
Just to add a little bit more to that. So community board preference has changed a little bit since I think this was presented. We heard a lawsuit challenging community board preference as a result of fair housing law and neighborhood choice. So preference has changed from 50% for the community board to 20%. And it will, depending on when these units are marketed, if it's after April 30th, 2029, that would go down to 15%, but it still gives a sizable preference to the community board residents.
So just to be clear, it went from 50 to 20,
It did.
then to 15 as
Yes.
preference.
We're hoping that with the timeline and with this upcoming ULURP, that it would still be 20%. And we thought that community board preference was gonna go away altogether. So we're happy it's still 20% at least. And there's still a strong preference for community board residents to stay. But as Agatha mentioned, a lot of the DHS placements will be coming from local hospitals as well. So they'll also.
Victor, I have to jump. Can I ask you a quick question?
Hey, Barry.
Can we go back to the timeline?
Which one? The ULURP one or
Yeah, the ULURP one.
Okay.
So my question is, now that we're on this timeline, we have, you have the opportunity to do this in a larger and denser way. And the site for that makes sense. It's on the corner of two wide streets. And the community has indicated a desire for A, more affordable housing, but B, ground floor retail to liven up that corner. Why, now that we have a more extended timeline, are we not considering doing additional housing and ground floor retail?
I can start with the answer to that question. So it's certainly great to hear that you all are generally in support of greater density in the neighborhood. Sometimes we have trouble with that. I think in the case with this project, I don't have to remind everyone, of course, that we're in a housing crisis and there's a high need for supportive units, and these are urgently needed units to come online. And we're also really wanting to move along the timeline to increase the capacity of the Emma Bowen Center to continue serving the community. So to further change the design of the building would not give us the opportunity to proceed on an expedient timeline to bring those things. Furthermore, with any site, of course, there has to be a balance between what's feasible and what's financeable and what's appropriate for the site. And with the zoning that's already provided, we're already able to bring on 200 units. So it doesn't make sense in this case for us to further refine the design to accommodate that additional density. And so as not to cause any further delay with the project.
Sydney?
Yeah, so I'm gonna piggyback off that, but I'm glad to see this is going through ULURP. We've had a long history with this project now since the moment we found out about it, which was only in September 2022, I guess. So I understand what you're saying, that you're farther along in the process than you'd like to be where you are. But we brought that up quite a few years ago, and there was ample of time. And now that we have ULURP, it feels like there's more time to discuss this. The ULURP process is about bringing the community in to bring our voice in and bring us in on the project here. So I would ask your understanding to talk more with us about this as far as using the density. I don't understand why, just because we're behind schedule from that point of view, we can't look at doing more density. I mean, let's build smarter, not just fast because we want to get more affordable. I want to see affordable housing, but I want to see it done correctly, and I want to see it done smartly.
Can answer that and just add a little bit more color to Justin's comment.
Sure.
Sorry, I'll try to project. So Justin's absolutely right, and we definitely appreciate when community boards ask for more housing. We definitely don't hear that a lot. But I will say, on top of what Justin had said, 200 units is sort of the upper limit of what our supportive housing loan program supports financially. And so we're already sort of pushing the envelope with that. So that also makes it really challenging to make any additional, add any additional units at this point as well. So we're kind of constrained on a financing side.
So it sounds like a hard no, you're saying, or?
No, it's not what we're saying. So there's certainly we can always take a look at what might be possible. We can't like fully commit that's something 100% we can do. It's certainly for something for us to take back and look into and see what our capacity is for design changes, but we can't make a firm commitment right here this week to greater density.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
and this is the
fair.
beginning. We haven't even entered the public review process yet, and we wanted to meet with all of you to really talk through the project. We know that you've had a long history with this. We know that you're frustrated with it, and we definitely want to be transparent through the process. So appreciate the feedback.
Walter? I came in on the beginning of the process when I first heard about this. I missed like a couple of steps along the way. I'm happy to hear that the services that are there now will be returning because it's essentially located. I work with seniors. It's easier to navigate. As that Park 30 is on a hill. So if folks are coming with walkers or any other thing, it's a little difficult. I mean, better that than none at all. That's one. And the other thing is about there hasn't been any senior housing built in CB9 in years. I have some of my neighbors who were all 20 and 30 years old, running up and down 4 or 5 flights of stairs. Now hobbling up 2 or 3 flights of stairs is a problem. So I'm hoping that seniors, they would make an amendment to say that seniors in CB9 will get some priority, as well as rent maintenance. I don't know if they what process they're going to use, like rent stabilization or Section 8 or Section 9 or something coming in that they can be able to hit those apartments, and then also establishing a waiting list because, as you know, a lot of us don't hang around that long. So we want these things to pass on to other seniors as.
Yeah, so just kind of to touch on your point, this building will both include senior units for supportive seniors and also low income seniors. The non-supportive units will be rent stabilized, and then the supportive units, tenants only pay up to 30% of their income. And the goal is to make sure everyone remains permanently stable.
Well, now, I used to work in the shelter system. Well, with the single, the SROs, I should say, the single rooms, will the preference be given to just the homeless people, or can senior residents occupy those as well?
So in this development, they're actually studios, not SROs, so every unit has a bathroom and a kitchen. And so as mentioned, a portion of the supportive units, 25 out of the 120 will be for seniors. So ages 55 and up.
Very good.
Formerly homeless households are days, all seniors as well, senior formerly homeless households.
No, so just a portion. So just 25 of the 120 units are for seniors.
Okay,
And
anything else with
the general population. So it could be more seniors, but it's not restricted to just seniors.
Okay, and for the homeless household, what's the maximum number in the school?
You mean household
Of the
size?
household?
I believe it's 2.
Yeah,
But we can double check and get back to you.
okay, and where will those formerly homeless households come from the local shelters, where was the source from?
Sure, I can take that question. So they're all health and hospitals patients who are also DHS clients. So they are coming from the New York City shelter system. They are homeless. They are also patients in our hospitals. We have over 5,000 homeless patients at Harlem, being served at Harlem Hospital. Yes. So we have many local homeless patients who would be. Yes, so we have 80,000 homeless patients across our system. They tend to be the sickest patients in our system, who have the highest length of stay, the most frequent use of the ER, and the greatest level of medical complexity. And one of the challenges for homeless patients is their medical complexity is increased by their housing instability. So the greatest prescription we can give them to improve their health is access to a housing unit, which is why Housing for Health is one of the Health and Hospitals pillars to improve patient care and to try and help our homeless patients. So we're really excited about this project that creates so many supportive housing units potentially for our patients. And we know just in this area, we have so many individuals who are in Port Health who would be well served by this housing and proximate location to health resources.
I'm sorry, and in 2029 is when the whole, apartments would be available.
So I have a question.
Oh, one second.
Oh, yeah, could you just say a little bit more about the spread of units across AMIs and whether that's something that's like set in stone?
Yeah, so as mentioned, earlier, this project is financed under HPD's supportive housing loan program. So the AMIs only go up to 60% AMI. It's one of our lowest income term sheets. So as you can see here, incomes don't exceed up to $75,000 for a family of 6. And then for a family of 6 at 60% AMI, it wouldn't exceed over $100,000. But if it's just looking at a single person, it starts at 45,000 and then 68. And we also have a portion of family size units. Sorry. Yeah. So as you can see here, there's approximately 16% of the units will be family size units. So that means 2 and 3 bedrooms. 32.
And I guess again, is that set in,
32 units.
is that set in stone or?
At the moment, this is the unit mix.
So, we mentioned some of the services coming back, and I know Emma Bowen's coming back, and that's great. My concern is the clinic services, and maybe this is better for HHC to address. There are currently clinic services at that location now. Is there discussion to replace them in our community, because we need those clinic services?
And just to piggyback on that, Heritage Health and Housing, Jackson Ophthalmology, those are 2, and there may be a third. They're pretty big also.
So there are 3 occupants of 1727 Amsterdam. There's the Emma Bowen Center, which occupies half the building, or a little, really 2/3 of the building. And then there's Heritage Health and Housing, which has a subtenant relationship with Dr. Jackson. So Heritage Health and Housing has communicated to us their plans to relocate to 1649 Amsterdam building.
And I think they would force south, though. They wanted to stay and they were forced south.
They have consistently communicated that they would like to relocate to 1649 Amsterdam and that it's a building in their ownership with their plan, and they have plans to move there.
Darius?
Yeah, I think I'm piggybacking on what has already been said. I also would like to just say that single units with a single unhomed person is different. It's a different demographic really than a family, formerly homeless family. And there is some concern with that in the fact that there would be no provision made for families at all. Also the on-site support. I know you said there'd be security and I think a case manager, but they're coming from hospitals, and somebody mentioned the coordinated entry system. Can you talk a little bit more about what that support would actually be? Is it going to be like methadone, or is it going to be health services, or could you just give us a little bit more information about that?
So I can speak a little bit to it. So when we talked about the coordinated entry system is how patients are selected, or the tenants will be selected for the supportive units. They make a special point of understanding their needs to make sure these are folks that can live independently, right? They can live independently, support their own households, you know, they're assisted daily activities, right? Cook for themselves, bathe themselves, do everything for themselves. So the type of services we provide are really a range. So when we talk about case managers, we set each of those particular tenants, the supportive tenants, will set their own goals. And we work with them to support those goals. Does that mean joining the workforce, trying to stay the workforce in the activity, activity specialists, We talk about health, we'll have healthcare navigators to make sure they're going to their doctor's appointments and following them on the health system. Health and hospital stays in relationship with them to make sure that's coordinated. If, you know, their doctor, their primary care physician is Harlem Hospital, we'll have a van to bring them back and forth to their doctor's appointments. So these are the kinds of services that we offer to all of our support tenants, and we'll do that here. That's the type of thing we typically do.
And if a qualifying patient has a partner, they and the partner would qualify to the unit. There's no limitation on the house of the qualifications that the head of household is chronically homeless per DHS. And they will also be identified by our system as in need of housing and appropriate for the setting. And they'll have all their paperwork in order, and their clinician and clinical team will be there supporting them in this move. And the move is to support their
Continuum of
their
healthcare
continuing health service.
And really quickly, just one more quick question. You said that there was a building that was moved from 182nd to 115?
Yes, we have a safe haven program.
Is that on the west side?
It wasn't the west side.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the east side.
I'm just curious because we're beginning to and you know, realizing that we do need affordable housing and we do need supportive housing for our residents, but we're sort of being overrun with supportive housing. And just curious how West Harlem has sort of, and I know you can't speak to everything, but just where it concerns what you can speak to, could you let us know why West Harlem is getting so supportive housing?
Good point. We can't speak to every type of program that's run by many providers throughout the city. So that we can't speak to, but to your point, we did move a program from West Harlem to East Harlem. Just recently.
The 182nd to 115?
I'm sorry, Inwood is not West Harlem.
That was not the Inwood program. There was one that's in East Harlem to 115th Street.
Yes, but 182nd, you said 182nd, right?
182nd to 115.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, nine, yeah. So in other words, why choose to open supportive housing versus a women's program that you mentioned you've opened before?
We operate a range of all types of programs.
No, that's good. But
Yes.
Why supportive housing here versus?
Why supportive housing here speaks to HPD when they made the initial designation, and what they were looking for was permanent supportive housing for their patients. That is why specifically. So BRC, because we offer a real range of all types of programs, it was the city that had identified their wish for supportive and affordable housing on this site. And BRC just is one of many programs we have.
And let me just speak to, I mentioned our Housing for Health program, which is a pillar of our system. We operate 10 Housing for Health, or successfully have developed 10 Housing for Health initiatives across our campuses where we're using our land for the development of supportive housing for our patients. So this property, 1727 Amsterdam, historically has been considered part of Health and Hospital's portfolio. And so we consider it a valuable opportunity to create housing that promotes good patient outcomes and good health.
So to be clear, there's no methadone in.
No.
It's not a
I just want to be clear because we've had.
It's not an addiction services.
Supportive housing does not provide methadone on site at any time, but no permanent supportive housing does that I'm aware of.
And then just to clarify the picture here, so it's sort of Deborah was saying, so HPD and H&H, we're working on sites across the city for supportive housing and in this manner, pulling from the H&H patient pool. So it's a citywide initiative.
I have several quick questions. How often is income verified? That is, after someone or family is placed, and if they no longer meet the income requirements, can they be graduated out of the supportive house?
So typically, one of the ways we finance it, it's an excellent question, because it's related to our financing the bulk of housing tax credits. So there is a certification of income that needs to happen upon move-in. And if they are certified upon move-in. A lot of times we do need to negotiate with the original investor. They may require at year 2 effectively recertification. But historically, even if your income increases at year 5, anywhere, anytime in your tenancy, you have a rent stabilized lease, so it's based on the rent stabilized lease. It has nothing to do with graduating out in terms of your income. So if your income increases, it's based only on your lease. You're not kicked out. That's the point. You have tenancy rights that come in the rent stabilized lease, so tenants would. So it has more to do with that than any increase of their income that might disqualify them. That's what the question is.
And your rent is also not adjusted. If your income continues to increase, you're still paying the same rent with a minor increase to 3%, depending on what the city sets. But your rent doesn't significantly go up because your income does.
The one thing I will clarify is in this case where they're having a rental subsidy, it's based on 30% of the gas. In that situation, if their income is tied to.
So is there a possibility that this studio is to be reconfigured to include more family size units, keeping in mind that you've already stated that you don't want to go above 200 units at this particular development. Therefore, what makes this to me that you would have more family size units to make sure that you're under the 200 units. I really don't support density. I support family size units, so, you know, we really need to look into trying to reconfigure to increase the number of family size units. And then in terms of the interior programs or whatever, is there a designated smoking area on site? And I asked this question previously, someone was supposed to get back to the board regarding that. I'm just wondering.
It's a non-smoking building.
Right, but it may be non-smoking, but people can still smoke. Is there a place on the premises?
There's outdoor courtyard. We would discourage smoking, but there is an outdoor courtyard inside the facility in the back area where.
Okay.
The off chance people might smoke, but.
Right, well, people, and then I'm concerned about being good neighbors. Will they be provided, people living there instructions on how to be a good neighbor? You know, we're involved in a containerization program here in the city. Will they be taught, you know, about recycling, about not littering, about not congregating around neighboring property, things, life skills that, you know, encourage them to be good neighbors and be acclimated into the community. I'm just wondering.
We mentioned some of the life skills training.
I didn't see recycling, containerization, littering.
We can add recycling to the next slide.
Our pets.
That's my question. Heather, we gotta move on. Thank you.
Nicole, also it's gonna be a new building, so you'll have space and containers within the building.
Wait, Chris.
Yeah, thank you. Really good question. From a real estate point of view, 481 West 145th Street is for sale, which directly abuts the building. So there's a structure on 481, and then there's a vacant lot, and then there's a large yard. Is that a consideration possibly for expansion of the project?
It goes back to what we had discussed previously of we have a design that's actually also approved to the Department of Buildings and we're ready to build now with what we have. So in order not to add additional time, it wouldn't be considered.
I'll also add that this project is able to maintain deep affordability because there's no acquisition cost. This is city-owned land, so the city is disposing to the developer. But once you think about adding additional properties and having to acquire those, then it changes the affordability mix and makes the project more expensive and doesn't allow for as deeper affordability.
Question I have myself, couple of quick questions. One, how familiar is this group with the surrounding area? I brought this up at one of the schools, meetings. Half a block down the hill between Amsterdam and Convent is supportive housing, Black Broadway housing. 2 blocks north, 147, 148, there's a supportive housing structure going up, a large structure going up. 145th, between Broadway and Amsterdam, there's a drug treatment center that I worked at myself. face feedback and now it's August. That contributes to a lot of things going on in the area, which has been relayed to me by the 30th precinct. So what precautions will be taken to make sure during the day, people don't go, there's a school across the street, there's a public library right there as well. I've gotten information from the public library, but they have sometimes men come in and just sit there. And it's disruptive to the young people because they're afraid, they don't know who they are. So how has that, or if that's been figured into the equation?
Can I take that? So BRC has a good neighbor policy that we heavily promoted across all of our programs. We have support staff that typically has rounds just to encourage the group. Emphasize the need to adhere to the neighbor policy to prevent such disruptions. I would also say to your point about supportive housing, supportive housing, as I tried to relay earlier, it's permanent, it's affordable housing. It's not a shelter, it's not something that's going to be disruptive. And again, I do want to extend an invitation to all of you to tour our affordable or supportive housing sites so that you have a clear sense of how it is we operate, the staff that we have on site, how they walk around the perimeter, how tenants come and go. It's not a situation of people are just like loitering or being disruptive or nuisance to the community. So I can say that BRC's commitment to the good neighbor policy is strong. So that's not going to be an issue for our community.
My other question is the AMI. The AMI for this particular area is about 52,000, right? So if you're doing 60%, that's going to price out quite a few people starting at 16,000. Is there any consideration to have more at 40% of the AMI to accommodate people in this community?
We definitely take that back. I will say this is one of the more deeply affordable programs that we offer, but it's definitely a conversation we can have internally.
If you're gonna offer some priority apartments to people in the area, they won't be able to afford them at that rate. Like I said, 53,000 is about where we are in the area. So
And that's not particularly affordable.
Well,
Relative.
Definitely.
and just to be clear to people in this room, this is not a NIMBY situation that we called by city council member recently. That's not it. We have a lot of supportive housing. We have drug treatment in this area. We're not saying not in my backyard. We're just not just saying not everything in our backyard and not in a 4-block radius. Like I said, drug treatment center there, supportive housing being put up, supportive housing already there, and one more coming. So that's
And 2 hotels. And all of those hotels.
right, and the hotel's being converted as well. So just something to take a look at. One of the things I do constantly is walk the area, just walk back and forth down on Convent Avenue, speaking to people, and just asking what they feel. Convent Avenue in particular is a historic area, and they were trying to put something there recently, and we're like, oh, this is, like I said, not everything like that, not NIMBY, but let's even within our district spread it out some more. So I one that will slowly look forward to working to make sure we can, but I like the consideration of lower rents.
And to piggyback on that a bit, and what Heather was saying, a lot of being a good neighbor has to do with the design of the building. In the back, is there a garden? Is there a place to sit? But
there is
maybe I missed that. That's because Laquita's also handling voting, so she's one of we have a big deal coming up.
Yeah, Agatha has added to the slide, you can see the layout of the building, so it is L-shaped, and that back area is a landscaped courtyard. That actually will also need some sustainability needs related to water, and all of those things are required by DEP, so benches, and that's just on the ground floor. Also in some of the upper floors, when I mentioned roof terraces, opportunities for gardening, community rooms, kitchens, so So, ample space that's also on that floor for staff, natural light. We've really taken a very important approach of what we call trauma-informed design, which is critical when we think about, not just our supportive tenants, but really everyone who lives in New York City having access to, natural light, access to natural areas, places to go, green spaces.
Barrett, sorry.
Yeah,
Barry, you have-
I have something for HHC and HPD, not so much BRC, which is, this land was not historically considered a part of HHC. HHC itself, until 2014, fought very hard to get it not considered HHC. But I want you, meaning HPD and HHC, to learn from this and to never do this way again. Okay, I was chair of this board when we found out about this project. We found out because you were doing soil samples in August of 2022. When I called HHC, Mael de la Cruz said, "Oh, I don't think you're supposed to know about that yet." And then in 2022, when we sat down with HPD's head of supportive housing, we told them that this was city-owned land and that they should be maximizing the amount of housing that is built on it. And their response was, "Oh, well, we don't want to go through ULURP." ULURP is legally required. Like, that's a dumb response. And because you chose to go about this in secret, because you chose to go about this without involving the community board or the community, because you chose to go about this where you wanted to present a fait accompli, you are leaving 100 units of affordable housing on the table because you could not be bothered to take us seriously when we told you to upzone the land and build more housing. And here we are, 3 years later, no housing has been built. You now concede that you have to do ULURP, and we're stuck with the same project. And so I would love to see this project improved, changed, made bigger with more affordable housing and ground floor retail. We passed a resolution about that in May of 2023. So these are not new concerns that we've brought to you. And throughout the entire time, you have fought us until you have finally conceded on ULURP. And now we have, again, 100 fewer affordable housing units coming out of this project. Like, you made massive failures at every step of this project planning. And it is our community and the city as a whole that will pay for it if we don't get the improvements. And so I need you at a minimum, even if we don't win this fight with you to get more units, please learn from this and please change the way you engage with community when you are thinking about redevelopment.
Yeah. So thank you for your passion, Barry. Certainly appreciate it. I don't think we're gonna hash out what may or may not have happened 3 to 4 years ago. We thought it was really important to come back here.
No. It did not. It did not may or may not have happened. It happened. I was there. Signe was there. Victor was there for many of these meetings. These things happened, and we were gaslit for 3 years. And you lied under oath to the city council when you proposed transferring this to the operating agreement. So no, do not. Just admit that this would have been better had you involved us.
Time, please. Thank you.
Leaving here varies.
So-
It'd be less pushback from the community had you come to us first and just work with us. That's why there's so many questions in this room for what is otherwise a fantastic project.
So I understand that, that's why we're here now. Look, no one's perfect, things can always be done better, that's why we're here now, and that's why. And I understand that there's a lot of thoughts about what may or may not supposed to be ULURP. The fact of the matter is, for most H properties, a different process exists. We don't have the ability to do that here. That's why we're doing ULURP here.
So I think 2 of the points Barry's making, one is going forward to learn from this. And 2, if any reconsideration can be done to more units, that would be great for the community.
Right, and that's absolutely something we can take a look at and see what flexibility might exist. All I was saying earlier was we can't commit to it. We have to explore what the possibilities are.
Okay.
They're gonna be ready to support you.
Daria.
Yeah, very quickly, 2 quick questions. I think Heather's question that didn't get answered is very important. Will there be dogs allowed? And I'm just gonna ask them really quickly. And the other question is, with the community rooms, is there any room or any thought of making rooms available for community meetings, projects, plays,
That's the
something?
design I was
I
talking
would,
about.
I'd be interested to know, what they look like and if any of that part is still open to, discussion.
Okay, 2 questions. Somebody wants to answer?
So the answer to the latter part of your question is yes. The community board and other community groups will be able to utilize community space
Okay.
in the building. As for the question about dogs, I unfortunately we don't allow dogs in our program, so.
Can that be,
But if a person
can that be
has,
reconsidered?
If a person wanted to be reconsidered.
Yeah.
So first,
So,
We all need some more proof.
so let's be, I didn't quite get it. So-
I have a service dog, so I can answer that.
No,
yes,
that's not.
that is correct.
So service dogs are allowed.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, that was my.
Regular house.
Regular, gotcha.
Dogs are allowed.
No, okay. Any further questions I might have missed? And I might have missed someone's hand.
Think Sigby.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, but maybe it's
So-
down.
No,
How will you measure the success of the project?
how we measure the success of the project?
Yeah,
Well, what do you think the success would be?
I'm asking the question.
I guess I don't understand.
So, yeah, I'm gonna answer that question. They're gonna measure their success by this board and this community.
Right.
And our feedback as they move forward. That's how they're gonna.
All right.
So we'll be working together, CRC and everyone else, and we'll say, these are the things that are working, these are the things that are not, how can we correct it? And at the end of the task, we'll say, good job or not. And how can we learn from this for other communities going forward, whether it be here or someone else? How can we learn from it? Both learns.
Stop, just to quickly add to that.
Could you put a unit while they're talking, you just put a.
No worries.
Quick question, will there be on-site laundry services or?
Yes. Yes.
Facilities?
Several laundry rooms are also.
I just wanted to quickly add that in terms of success, I mean, ultimately, we're all client centered. We want to make sure that our tenants are stably housed. So I think success will certainly be determined by providing the services to the people who need it most to be able to continue to make these units live forever.
And Health and Hospitals has done a study of Metro Health Plus patients who have been housed through our programs, and we've seen incredible improvements in patient health and patient outcomes, reductions in use of the ER, just general signs of wellness, reductions of use of the system. Like it's a great success if someone is coming for fewer doctor's appointments because it means their care is managed.
And how is that report accessible to us? Community board meetings.
The Metro Health Plus, I can.
Or any kind of community assessment that you may have done. When we first learned about it, there was some statement that an assessment had been made, but there was no. But there had not.
So we have this study from Metro Health Plus, so I can get that for you, and
That would be-
we can circle
that
back
would be
with that.
Last question.
Two quick
It's
things.
not our study, it's their study. So.
I understand, but you're using their
Yes,
study.
yes.
The desk clerk, are they security guards?
They're trained. They're trained in what zone?
Okay, fine. All right, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. If not, I would really want you to be working with the precincts, with precinct two.
Oh, of course, I mean, definitely will establish relationships with our right.
Perfect. And then the
We'll
second
share
thing
this
is
presentation.
what Chair mentioned with the income. So if you're making minimum wage in the city, as a matter of fact, if you're a tip employee, you make less than minimum wage. But if you're making minimum wage in the city, you're making about 36,000 a year as a single person. So they would not have access. So people.
Well, I want to clarify a little bit on housing, and through the Housing Connect, the city lottery process. Very, very many tenants would just open a program in Far Rockaway, for instance, come with vouchers, whether or not that's actual Section 8, they may come with city FAPs, may also be coming out of homeless families that are coming out of shelter. So they often, especially if they're lower income and have other rental subsidies, access housing and affordable housing that way.
Okay.
Section 8 will be accepted.
Of course, every type of voucher, whether that's that, or voucher.
Just wanted to put it out there.
Yes, HAB status, all of the rental subsidies that can support people or school exempt.
And this project will include 120 units for people basically making no income.
Yes.
So that's deeply affordable as well.
All right, well, yes.
It's a question and perhaps a request. I'm assuming you're going to have activity specialists. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Would you make sure that the people in our community are aware of this and that we have the right to first refusal? That is, you let us know first, that is the community know first of the people that you like to staff. Positions that are open, so that our audit.
Oh, you mean the job, sorry, I thought you meant, the job, you're coming in. Story. Yes, as we mentioned, the community jobs, yes, local job fairs, engagement, several job engagements specifically on the neighborhood-based community level. Yes, we do that very often in all our programs and we look forward to doing that here.
And thank you, we'll be watching.
There is one, other thing, you had a slide showing that you had 7 letters of support, some or 9 letters, some of them, we may or may not be familiar with. You mentioned Broadway communities, Broadway housing communities, or there's
another organization called Broadway Communities.
It's Broadway Presbyterian Church, Laquita. It's their community service arm. Broadway Presbyterian Church on like 114th and Broadway.
Gotcha. All righty, well, thank you. I hope to be seeing you again along the
Yes.
process. I'll be
So
here.
you'll still be seeing us this fall
Yeah.
and we'll be in contact.
Thank you.
And we'll also share this presentation with you.
Yes. Next up is. Sorry.
This is like.
I.
Thank you.
We have,
Do not.
no.
I have sit in hot seats. Yeah, I feel a little. I have a presentation. You don't need a presentation. I'm gonna get it to you. I'm gonna get it to you. I'm just gonna talk. You want me to sit in the hot seat? So I do have to sit in the hot seat. But I'm fine. I wanna know. Thank you. Y'all ain't no joke. Right.
Did you come to slay?
You guys. Gino. Ice cream party. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Where you stationed, where you?
But we're having a Black Health Summit at River Drive. Yes, reset. Everyone needs resets. Resets for sure.
All the services that are there now. They do them to. I know. Those things I would like it to be community. Build a stage.
That sounds.
Yeah, and she's from she's now out in LA. She dresses.
Alright, let's get started.
You know.
Right, recess is over.
Yeah.
This started. Okay, next. Patient services.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
It's good to be here and it's good to see everybody. It's good to see how much you care about your community. So this for me is an easy layup. I am here with Black Health Matters, and Black Health Matters is working with the Chamber this year on the Chamber of Commerce. This is our 3rd year. And we are bringing the Black Health Matters Health Summit. Black Health Matters has 4 summit series each year. We started in Atlanta, we go on to DC, then we come to Harlem, and we end our series in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the summits are about bringing hospitals, health communities, anyone who is involved in the health and care of Black people, all in one space. We provide screenings, there are presentations, panel discussions, on all things affecting our health, certainly mental health, things of that nature. You have the opportunity to ask questions, get answers, and what we do best is create an environment where you feel absolutely comfortable asking your question and having it answered. We work with a gentleman, we call him the guru of abs. He does an amazing job with senior sculpting, showing seniors how they can still work out. There's always a healthy eating portion, and just all things good health for us. This will be our 3rd year here. Traditionally, we've been on 125th at the Alhambra Theater, well, the Alhambra Ballroom. And last year, unfortunately, we had hundreds of people waiting to get inside and they could not. So this year, we will be at the Riverside Church. And I am super excited about it. My job is to make sure that people come out, and that is why I am here. It is extremely important that you do come out.
sometimes these are the only places of where some people can get services. And we do our best to have wraparound services so that you get your results and you look for us the next time, because what we do know is I can't come to Harlem and not do a good job and then expect to come back the next year. I've certainly learned that. So I am very excited to be here, and just listening to you, I know how much you care about your community. So we're going to have as co-hosts this year, we had Sandra Bookman last year. She'll be with us again. Elijah Westbrook, who is, I understand, from Harlem, young man. Nikki Sunshine, she owns a comedy club here. Tobias Trabon, he is an actor. Cynthia Bailey, who is she works with us on a regular, and Timon Durrett. He is from Beyond the Gates, and some of the ladies may know him from Queen Sugar. But what we do is bring the brightest and the best to each summit to make it exciting. And that's what we aim to do. We're gonna have health screenings, mammograms. We work with Mount Sinai, the PSA bus, of course, hypertension, HIV, Hep C. We work with Weill Cornell, the breast center, yes. And MG Holistic Society, and they will be providing hand strengthening screens. And it's ongoing, but we have 12 sponsors, which are from the pharmaceutical industry, and 30 exhibitors. So I will leave my information with you, and if there's something that you think would be that we could talk about in terms of what you would like to see at the summit, I'm definitely open to it. I am Monica Harris, and I'm the external liaison. Thank you. That's right. That's what I am. Yes.
Men's health, please.
Men's health.
There's a lack of, I've had 2 people recently that got diagnosed with prostate cancer. So we really have to step up for diagnosing our men who are going to get treatment. Sorry, you said breast?
I in the PSA bus from Mount Sinai.
Okay.
But I challenge you because I have the PSA bus there.
Okay.
And the men don't show up. I gotta pull them off the street. I literally stand outside. Hi, brother, how you doing? It won't hurt. Come here, come talk to me. The whole 9. So help me, help the community. Is that fair?
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
What day is this?
Oh, I did.
Thursday, right?
It is Thursday,
August 14th.
August 14th
Is there?
at the River Center. Yes, I do.
It's on the agenda.
So this is part of Harlem Week?
This is a part of Harlem Week. We do it in,
Okay, very good.
yes, we work with Harlem Week, and so you will start to see our signs in the subways here in Harlem. You'll see things on the news. You'll hear about it on the radio, newspapers, and what have you. You'll see this little black bald head woman walking around Harlem.
I'm excited.
When you see me,
Yes,
let's talk. Yes.
For their weekly newsletter.
Well, thank you.
So let me get him this 2023.
So that would make the CEO, Roslyn Young Daniels, very happy to know. And as a matter of fact, I went to A. Philip Randolph today to talk with the seniors, and a few of them let me know. Look, I already know. I know when it is, and I'll be there. So that means that we're making a dent here in Harlem. And it takes a while for people to get to know you and know what you're doing. But we're here. We're very happy to be here. And anyone wants to, I didn't bring my cards, but if anyone needs to take my number, I'm more than happy to give it to you. Let me know when you're ready. 201 264 5907.
Have you sent a small copy of the flyer and your contact information to Luther?
Yes, I'll send everything to you. Yes, yes. If you would take one and.
I'll get emails from you.
Okay.
I had Deidre Tate here.
Deidre Tate unfortunately was unable to come today, and And what is your name?
No,
My name is Monica Harris.
That's what I want to.
I have a question, Monica.
Hold on, please. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry, besides the annual summit, do you do other engagements with black churches? We work with black churches, we have webinars, which you may have seen on the newsletter. We work with the Divine Nine. We do a lot of work with them. So there are always programs going on throughout the United States on behalf of Black Health Matters.
So,
I can tell you my personal, at least for 2 years, I've attended the Black Health Matters Summit when it's been here, and it has been fabulous. And you're right, last year, there were so many people, which I guess is a good thing, that heard about it. This is unfortunate with the limitation. So now that they're in a bigger space, and we look forward to helping promote it. It's a great event, great resource.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you. I appreciate this, and I will take this positive energy back to my team.
You have a flyer? Is there a flyer? Can you email it to
I
us?
will email it to you. Is that okay? And
That's
it's good
fine.
to see you.
You too.
I'm
I
a
know.
Southern, I'm holding my hand out.
I am
I'm
too.
touchy.
North Carolina.
Oh, Florida, Jacksonville,
Okay.
Florida. That's right. So are there any other questions about the Black Health Matters Summit on the 16th, on the 14th of July at the Riverside Church?
July?
Did I, August?
August. Oh.
I was checking to see if you
Oh,
were.
okay.
It's August, no, it's August. This is a Thursday.
Start time.
It starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. And breakfast, lunch, and a snack will be served. So you're with us from 8 until 5. We have a full day of activities, presentations, panel discussions, and screenings.
The day before the seminar, I mean, we probably, Jasmineville will be in Rivers and Grants too, which is right across the street from.
I'll probably.
So it would be nice to be able to hand off the flyers, stuff, so you could.
Where are you?
Probably 149 St. Nicholas Convent.
Okay, I'm gonna get you.
Like that, I like that.
We gotta work
Okay,
together.
yes, we do.
I'll get your information.
Yes,
I'll get your
ma'am.
information. So this has been wonderful. Yes, did you have
No, I was
questions?
just saying, it'll get cross promoted probably with Harlem Week activities.
Yes.
You'll see a lot more of it.
And it makes sense. We had done it before and just hadn't gotten the traction, but now that we're working with the chamber.
Great Day in Harlem is the Sunday before that, am I right? The Great Day in Harlem at
It's
the end?
sometime around, I'm normally at the
Yes,
senior,
as far as,
senior
yeah,
day.
community
I think it's
junction.
that Saturday after.
It
Oh, it's
is.
after,
Yeah.
okay.
It is after.
Uh-huh.
It is after.
Mhm.
I think there's something also at Grants to the last Sunday in July every year. I don't know what it is, and there's a lot of people, a lot of vendors, last Saturday in July, right?
I'll look
I'm
up.
sorry, last Sunday in July.
It hasn't come out yet in terms of what is gonna happen, because I've been looking, but I know that you'll normally see Black Health Matters at a couple of events.
Okay.
So that's who we are, that's what we do, and
Okay.
we are extremely again excited to be here, and thank you so much for
coming.
Thank you. Be well. Thank you, and I'll be reaching out. Thank you.
Yeah, no.
Say, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
Give you my information.
But
I'm good, that's all right. Just, you need to get this. Give my, let you be right. That's right. Right, we're gonna move on. Welcome, yes, sir. Just give me some information, I'll be quiet.
Right. All righty, moving on with the agenda, ladies.
Yes, sir.
Initial T lights.
Next up is the chair's report.
That's 9 ones.
Ready. Okay.
2-0.
My chair's report is in my phone today. I'll have it printed for general board. So, my first thing is in-person attendance. In-person attendance. That includes coaches and members. As I've said in the past.
Yes.
Why am I competing with you?
Because I'm being a community person. Come here. You know what it's out here. I'm with it.
Good, go.
How does that work? Because we have it on the absent in-person attendance in terms of the sheet. For example, we have the attendance sheet that says should I still single out anyone on a separate list, to this person has missed 4 sessions? Will there be attention?
Yeah.
Okay, so when we give it to,
Is the coach approving them to be virtual?
No,
Okay.
no.
on the
We have,
chair, vice chairs are approving.
One person who's been absent, I'm pretty sure 5 times from committee.
Okay.
And, but I didn't know, I kind of felt, well, okay, the attendance sheet would be the record.
No, you can always bring it to our attention.
I know it in economic development, it was only you and Marita there with your guest,
Yeah.
Tony Rogers.
I was gonna
And
get.
last meeting was not generally. I know, but I'm saying, was that approved? No.
No, so they're all absent.
None that I know.
Right, so.
Other people as well who stayed online for the meeting.
Okay.
But not that meeting where we had two people. There were 2 people who were online. Missed them.
Okay, so what I'm saying is, I'll say this at general board as well, in-person attendance is required. Because you need a quorum to do work. I looked at your meeting after, and I just saw 2 people, the 2 of you, and then a guest, what's going on? So, one of the things I'm gonna do going forward is bylaws committee, one of the things there will be to review attendance twice a year. I don't wanna wait till April.
Right.
And it could just be taken straight from the attendance sheet,
Right.
and that way
Yes.
it's legal, so to speak,
Yeah.
it's not
So
depending
we
on.
just
who it
need,
is.
like I said, people to be in person so we can get the job done.
Can I say a statement here?
You can say a statement, yes.
I'm one of the oldest members of this board, that's why I'm permanently on, I don't have to reapply. Are you on the board? Who? Are you on the board? Never seen you. This is the part. The point is, he will not be the only one, it is important for us to come in person. My picture does not look like this, so that you see me and I know you and you know me. I'm done with it now.
Done.
Wait.
Hey, well,
She's a yes. D-U-N-N is
Yes,
D-O-N.
Right.
Don't worry, you know, don't
Michael
worry.
is a new member, who's come to
So
several.
now you know.
He
I'm
knows.
not seeing.
Wait, let me say this in defense. Michael's been to 3 meetings already, has not been assigned to any committee,
Right.
doesn't have to be here. He's been to 3 committee meetings and engaged with me.
Is he less handsome?
Miss Dunn, are you abandoning me?
Anyway.
Cause ain't nobody in this room old as me, I can pick on him.
Yes.
Yeah, question? A statement, yes, go ahead.
Can we, I found it just a tad bit confusing during the general board meeting when we're doing, when we're going over the resolutions, that we could be asked the people who are not in attendance, who are on Zoom. If their vote isn't counted, let's not ask them.
We have to, I think.
Why?
Robert, no, we have to get a statement
from them, because they are still board members, and so we don't count their vote. So we
Their,
do have to
their
get
vote,
if
their vote count. Their vote count.
and they
It's
say,
only, it's just that in order for any vote to count, you have to have quorum.
if I'm running for council person,
Yeah, yeah.
and I voted.
Barry, hold, let me get.
These are controversy. Even if I wasn't present, they say Shanika Wilson said yes. They can go back and they can check that and they can bring that to me and say, hey, we don't like the way that you were voting. So yes, you should still have your vote counted.
Turn up, Barry, what was your comment?
It was just that their votes do count. It's just that they don't count for quorum. So if they voted no and they tipped the balance, then it's a no. It's just that you can't have any votes unless you have an in-person quorum.
Barry, that means that if a person is on Zoom, their vote can count when you're in a committee meeting.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but only if you have quorum in person.
That way.
Only if you have quorum in person, he said.
So if you have quorum in person, people on Zoom can vote and the vote counts, that's what you're saying?
Yes, but if you don't have quorum, nobody's vote counts because you don't have quorum.
Okay.
All right, we have to take another look. All right, thanks, Barry, for the clarification.
Thank you.
So I started with attendance, sorry, I got sidetracked. Like I said, I'm looking at wanting to have a bylaws committee, and one thing we look at is attendance, because it's rampant, to say the least. I sat in and chaired the housing committee meeting this past week with help from Sydney, Liz, and Barry as well. And Monique. And one of the things we're talking about, the 197A plan, everyone should take a look at two documents, 197A and the community benefits agreement, because within the housing meeting, we started talking about that, and 197A lays out some of the housing decisions and requests that we want, but we need to update. That hasn't been done. 197A plan was certified in 2008. So that's why I want you to look it up.
On the website.
It's on our website.
It's on our website.
It gives a lot of different information. One is housing and what we would like to see in the community. Any change in zoning, trying to preserve historic buildings and things of this nature. So take a look at those as well. There's a document called the Manhattan Plan that's coming out shortly. Right now, vacancy in my recollection, Manhattan is about 2.3%. So they're looking to create 100,000 units of housing, right? Affordable or not affordable, but with 100,000 units within Manhattan, correct? We want to make sure we have input into that to preserve what we already have historically, and to make sure, as we did this evening with the last group for here, that some of it's affordable for this community. I mean, studios going for 1,200 a month, it's not affordable. Making 35,000 or less. Less. So as that moves forward, we want to make sure we're involved. We have the challenge of getting 2 new co-chairs for housing, since that was decimated by powers to be. And we have 18 new board members, the most ever, correct? Wow. Right, I've gone through almost all of the 18. We have some great candidates, great resumes, a couple of attorneys, some people have worked in housing. So I think we have a good group of people to work with. Yeah. But attendance, great on paper, but you gotta show up and you gotta put the work in. So I'm hoping, and I'll mention this to the general board again, that those people with the great resumes will come forward and have the input that I see on paper. Looking forward to it. And we've had, bless you, in addition to Michael Gross, we've had other new members show up at some of the meetings and say, I want to see what's going on. And even email me and ask me questions. And I'm like, this is encouraging.
Yeah.
Definitely encouraging. So I'm hoping that will that will continue.
Someone has their hand raised.
Someone has the hand.
Deshaun,
Yes,
Oh, hi. I just had a question. How long do we have to respond to your email about what committees we would like to be considered for? I'm still reviewing everything and trying to figure out, but I don't know what the deadline is to respond.
one more week.
Well, okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks for asking that. And
Thank
thanks for coming out for the meeting. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
So, like I said, we have to get 2 co-chairs for housing. We have some other committees that don't have second co-chair. We're gonna upgrade those shortly to, as best we can based on the people who are here and some new people. There will be some new members that will be co-chairs of committees. Just want to put that out there. Based on their skill set and what I've read. 2 reasons for that. One, we need them, but secondly, as we move forward, someone has to pass this knowledge on. So the people who are already in place as co-chairs can serve as training for the people coming on board. It won't be here forever. Right. So, West Harlem Arts Alliance, I'm working with them in Columbia University on a space for a permanent home for the West Harlem Arts Alliance. 147th and Broadway, it's a church that was there. It's a great building. I want to take a look at it. Right, we're still negotiating with Columbia on that. I think we meet again next Monday. We talk about it. Want to make sure the building is in great shape before they take it on. Yes.
147 and.
They have that whole block.
It's a 7-day event, just.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. They have it. So, been working with them on that. I had the opportunity in the last 2 weeks to go to 2 ribbon cuttings. One was for the dog run, or one in 42nd and Riverside. It's a great looking place. AstroTurf, it's one park for small dogs, one for larger dogs. So that was good. And the other one is at Morningside Park at 112th Street. It's a Mike's Seafood. They built a space for him there, and he's gonna have seafood there.
On Wednesday, yeah.
112th and Manhattan.
Inside the park.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Little household. Yeah.
112 our meeting, right?
112.
That's where the,
Lafayette,
okay,
where the what?
that's where the trunk is. Where the water one is upstairs, and there's a little pond.
Morning.
Down, morning Manhattan, with Manhattan.
Oh, it's not in the park?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's up on the sidewalk. Yeah, it's a little indentation, right?
Like front facing on the other side of St. James.
No.
No, it's down the hill.
Oh, down it.
Morningside Avenue and Manhattan Avenue, where they meet Lafayette Square. You know where Lafayette Square is? It's right just past there. Okay, so looking forward to that. And lastly, I had the opportunity to attend the mayor's press conference for the new bins, the garbage bins. He held it at 152nd and Amsterdam last Monday. I was in the back.
Yes.
No.
You always say that. Oh my God, the back.
Exactly. Anyway, it was a good press conference, but he did get some questions from people on the street, and he answered as far as parking, sweeping up around the bins. Who's responsible? It's the resident, the building's responsible for that. 18 inches from the curb is the law. Cars, they really give a good answer, but we're gonna look at that, because I would estimate, just a ref, we've lost about 800 parking spaces with the bins. There's 1,100 bins, and each bin is almost the size of a car, a little bit smaller. And people, right, and then the poles, so as I walk, people that know board, they ask, what about the parking? And I'm like, we're working on it.
We have 3 now on 125th Street, but they're on the sidewalk.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, now we're on the sidewalk.
They're on the sidewalk.
We're talking about the same thing?
Yeah, that's
Gray.
where the garbage goes, so not that big, but black and then.
No.
School, if it's a school one.
That's over the garbage bin?
Yeah,
That's
they're
what we
gray, they're gray.
It's black.
So you're talking about two different things.
Yeah, the garbage bins that are, they look like they're gray ones, but they're black, they're on the sidewalk and I see people. And they're not taking the parking space,
Right.
but they're in front of the building.
The gray ones are at the side of the car.
Oh, yeah, well, they're not.
They're on the side and they're in the street taking the park. Anyway, that was a good press
Well, the
conference.
sidewalk wasn't working, that's
Okay.
good, now you know.
Just to add to your piece, when if you do approach it about the parking and spaces lost, also consider congestion pricing has caused more of those Jersey residents to park up here as well. So,
And then six.
and that came up in our
If they
meeting
can.
too.
We
We need to press on that.
We talked about like 9, 10, 11, and 12, we talked about residential parking. It has to go to the state level. We spoke at the city level, but it has to go to the state level, so it's gonna be an ongoing conversation. Because like I said, people come across the bridge, especially in 12, and they know when Alton side is, and they get a place, and that's it.
And good models for that, and I'll try to look it up and get it for you. You probably already know Victor, but Weehawken and what's the next, West New York
Yes.
are good models for that.
Good thing, my cousin lives in Weehawken, so I deal with that frequently.
Right, and that's come up a lot, and we
Yeah.
should emphasize that we're talking about free parking
Yes.
for those who live in our community.
Absolutely.
Respective communities.
Okay, moving on, that's my report for the month. Treasurer report.
Hi, everyone, one at a time. The treasury report is in your packet. Please review it. If you have questions, please let us know. Ms. Yuzo?
Yes, we have been receiving receipts for various events that have taken place. I know you haven't received your reimbursement as yet. It's because I want to submit the reimbursements in one total package, so. I know you're probably wondering, why haven't I gotten my money? It's not in deaf's ear, it will be forthcoming. There are still a few events that will be taking place, so I'm looking by the end of this month to have everyone reimbursed. Going to my report?
Yes.
Okay.
District manager report.
Yes. In addition to my report, I have a few announcements. One being the general board meeting will be held on Wednesday, June 18th, because Thursday, June 19th is Juneteenth, which is a city holiday. The district office will be closed. It will be held at the city college, on the city college campus in the North Academic Center building on the first floor. That's 160 Convent Avenue at 138th Street. I was informed that ID is required to enter the building. You have to have ID in order to enter the building. So please don't forget your ID, and we will be sending out reminders. The general board meeting will be held on Wednesday, June 18th, not Thursday, June 19th. Same time, different location, and because we're having the meeting there because the forum will be used as a primary voting site. So we had to change our location.
Early voting?
Yes.
Is it possible to promote that on LinkedIn NYC?
Promote.
The general board, yes,
General board.
yes, yes.
To that.
Also, about the Empire Bins, management for our office building has asked that the community board assist them in having their Empire Bin relocated. It's currently on Broadway, next to the abandoned building. They're asking that it be moved in front of 133rd Street. Outside this location, there's a no standing sign. The Empire Bin can't be parked there because it says no standing. They want DOT to change the sign to no parking so that they could install the bin there. I'm asking DOT to do a study. I know there's a reason that there's a no parking sign there. They then asked directly across the street where the school has their Empire Bins, an additional parking space will be jeopardized, taken away, because they're asking for the bin to be located there. Currently, they have to come up this hill, come around the corner on this side of our office space to put their trash. And in the winter, they know that that's gonna be a hardship. The Super Eddie told me that the porter has already quit. So,
It's summer, you know.
yeah, so, I told him I could send it to DOT and DSNY for consideration. I'm just giving you guys a window as to what's going on. They have it, yes. Darius?
It's gonna take a way for you to finish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they were asking for the board's, support in having it moved. I know DOT has to do a study. DSNY basically told them, hey, it is what it is. But, I promised them that I would try to look into it.
That's
Yeah.
the bus, that's gonna create a problem for us. To put it on 133rd, that's all I'm asking that.
If anything, they could put it across the street where the bins for the school currently are. It could be next door, but that will jeopardize a parking space.
But here, here it's gonna be a real.
Yeah.
Cause in fact, I just sent video today to Captain Rose at the 30th because it's still a mess out here. He said he was gonna get a traffic person. You have people driving into oncoming traffic because they wanna get down the hill during the rush hour. Yeah, all the time.
And we haven't had our crossing guard since spring break. She's out on medical leave. So we don't even have a crossing guard. No, that's
So I would suggest, asking DOT to put it across.
Of course.
Yeah, not on this.
Okay. Also tonight at approximately 9 p.m., DEP will be conducting scheduled repairs on critical water infrastructure on Amsterdam Avenue between 130th and 133rd Street. Water will be temporarily shut off to customers in the area and will be back on within the early hours of Friday morning. DEP is aware of the sensitive facilities within the Mink building. There's a dialysis clinic and a New York State Persons with Disabilities within the Mink building. They have been alerted about the changes and the shut off of water. And any additional time, if any additional time is needed, they will alert them in a timely manner. At my cabinet meeting, district service cabinet meeting, MTA addressed the 137th Street City College #1 train station renovations. They said that they are on schedule. Park benches on the north side, that's the uptown exit, were temporarily removed because a lot of people were complaining about security in that area when they come off the train. When you turn the corner, it's not lit properly at night, and there's benches there, and they're congregating on the benches doing whatever.
Okay.
So the benches have temporarily been removed and will be replaced upon completion of the project, which I was told is fall of 2026. Excavation has started for the uptown and downtown elevators. In fall of 2025, the extended stairwells will be opening to eliminate the pedestrian congestion exiting the subway, which is currently underway. In the morning, it's horrific. And especially when it's raining, it's even worse, with people coming up and down, and it's a very narrow stairwell. So they will be expanding it, this fall, so I guess.
125. Wait, I'm sorry.
137, the one
I'm sorry,
train.
I was in the wrong set, yeah, thank you, I apologize.
Yes.
137, yes.
DOT presented to the UST committee last Thursday. And the committee asked them to send over analysis on the potential impact the removal of the bus stop at Manhattan Avenue and 112th Street may have on senior citizens in the area. And after analyzing census data, park accessibility data, New York City cooling center maps, Department of Aging senior center maps, New York City OTI city maps, houses of worship maps, and other consultations with the MTA, DOT believes that this bus stop consolidation will not adversely impact seniors, so they will be condensing the bus stops. And it looks like the Uptown Night Market will resume back at its original monthly format starting July 10th. They will host 4 final monthly events between July and October. back under the bridge. October will be their final event for the Uptown Market within District 9. It looks like they've come upon some promising potential locations to permanently have their events. So they will no longer be having their events on the night. I know that 2, 6, and 3 will be very happy. And last but not least, the deadline to submit the 2025 community benefits grants applications will be Friday, June 20th at 5 p.m.
Thank you.
So question, so they're not gonna use the,
After
parking lot?
October, they won't be, well, they're not gonna use the parking lot anymore. They're going back to
So
under the bridge,
yeah.
yes. For whatever reason, I'm not sure, but I guess we could have a meeting with them. Yeah.
You said monthly versus, because it wasn't weekly.
They were doing it weekly, but
Right,
now
now
they're
it's
going back,
going
yeah.
That's what I'm.
I don't think it's too successful like he thought it would be.
Right,
Yeah, I think that's.
oversaturation
Yeah,
probably.
yeah.
Did you also get notice that the escalator, uptown escalator on 147th Street on the D and the B train is gonna be taken out of service until the end of,
When?
Yeah, in Medford, they're working on it now. I think it's one day.
I did not,
Albert.
I'll ask Albert, oh, he did.
So I don't know, they just did it a couple years ago. I mean, maybe 5 years, 6 years ago. But they're taking the escalator. If you come off the D train, the B train, and in front of the thing, and try to, it's 101 steps going to the top. So I suggest that people get off at 135th Street, take the elevator because it's working, and take the 3 bus. I just want to do that until they finish, because that's going to be uncomfortable.
It is the district manager's report.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
What happened?
She's so good, she doesn't know.
No, I don't.
She don't know, that's so good to hear.
It's a weekday, so we help them.
Meeting Monday, June 16th at approximately 10 a.m. The MTA is replacing the escalator at the 145th Street station, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Great. Alrighty, 125th bid.
Yes.
And Chris.
Okay, very quickly, when Chris and I attended the bid meeting on May 20th, the feedback was pretty positive, I would say. They reported that there was a decrease in a number of the things that we have concerns about. Crime, being larceny and other things, and it's on the 1-pager. As the weather gets warmer, of course, the goal is to make sure that they can focus more on those in that area who might tend to engage in some of the negative activity. They supposedly there are key people that they know engage in certain things like theft particularly. And so the goal is just to, I think, have more outreach, go out and provide more services so that people get the help that they need so that they're not engaging in these activities. I would say that kind of sums up in terms of the intent. And, sanitation, once again, that's always a big issue because quite frankly, 125th Street is quite filthy. I mean, that's the only way to put it. It's not as clean as it could be. And, it's a concern. I mean, this is supposed to be the jewel of our, of Uptown, then we wanna, present it in the best light possible. So I know that it gets brought up quite frequently, having enough garbage cans, and I know Chris and I have also brought up the need to power wash the sidewalks and things of that nature. And that's a very touchy subject because it involves a lot of different considerations and quite frankly, having enough funds to do it and access to water, something as simple as that. Let me just go through it quickly, and if you have questions, I'll answer them, or Chris can, because I'll have someone to jump in. In terms of containerization, because obviously Uptown, we got our fill, and now on 125th Street, they are looking to see what can be done in order to, keep it clean. And we are looking to do some type of pilot where one of those bins are going to be placed not exactly on 125th Street, but I think off the beaten path
And the goal is to see what kind of usage and maintenance will be done on that container. And figure out all the kinks so that, you know, once we figure out the best way to maintain, then the goal will be to add more containers in strategic places. Because 125th Street has a lot of traffic, has a lot of buses, so putting big bins on 125th Street is just not feasible. So it's a conversation that will continue. And as it does, we will bring it back to you. Chris, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, so what Monique is describing in terms of issues and circumstances, exactly what this meeting is. It's a quarterly interagency meeting, so DOT, NYPD, Transit, MTA, the district attorney's office are all present for the meeting. So the issues that they see come into the meeting, the business owners are there, Target, everyone. And the discussion is wrapped around how can the agencies acting together address the issues versus acting in silos. So I think it's been working well so far. And we look forward to seeing it.
I say, look at the number. There's one more quick thing.
Supplemental insurance is increasing.
I'm sorry, is there a question or a comment, Chris?
If after brokers are
So one thing I did want to add is that, and we've spoken to Victor about this. The ability to maybe expand the reach of 125th Street, so it's not just stopping, let's say at St. Nicholas Avenue, but extending it a little further west. So some of the businesses that are in our CB get some love and attention.
You're referring to the bid.
The bid, no, I'm still talking about the bid.
Yeah.
So, we're supposed to be meeting with Barbara to talk about what that might look like, because there are. I things that are, I guess, are involved in terms of running the bid and the businesses that are on 125th Street and how they contribute to make it successful. And we want to learn more about that so that we can spread that love to the businesses that are in our CB.
Right, but so we look at that also because of the holiday lights parade. And the question was, how could we have businesses from this area join the parade?
Participate,
Yeah.
that's right. So if we would look to, have a good conversation and hopefully expand. So by the time the next holiday lights parade comes through, we'll have some businesses from our CB. So there are questions.
So just for clarification, right now the bid ends where?
At Morningside.
Morningside Avenue.
From the Fifth Avenue to Morningside.
Yes.
120.
Is it like 110?
No, 125th.
No, 125th Street.
Yeah, but it ends at Morningside. right?
Yeah.
You have a question?
Yes, yes, Margaret.
On Old Broadway and 125th, I just left there today.
Yes.
There are 3 of the new trash cans, the smaller ones, they're black, the new ones, but they're black and they're right there on Old Broadway and 125th Street.
Okay.
So that's the beginning of it, and it's not on the Seatown side, it's not on that big side, it's on the smaller side. Which makes sense in a way, and what I promise you, I will check the other half of the block.
Okay.
So that we will know, and I will ask them if they don't have it, why not, I have.
Yeah. I know you will.
I have.
I saw another hand.
Larry, you said-
Sorry, go ahead, Darren.
Really quickly.
Yes.
I'm curious why the bid ends at Morningside. That's an aside question, but my first thing I wanted to say though is about the bins and the litter. Perhaps you can suggest some sort of education that needs to start early. Because unfortunately, in an urban metropolis such as this, people it doesn't matter how many cans you put out there, people will still throw something down right next to it. Or walk 2 steps from it and throw something on the ground. That is prevalent. That it is just part of the fabric of what goes on here, and children learn that from childhood. And I know that one of my first professional acting gigs was actually I was hired by the city of Minneapolis to teach them about recycling. We had a little play that we did. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but we have like Harlem Week and we have the ones, the lights parade and everything. And perhaps there can be things that are sort of rolled into and you know, maybe even arts and culture can help with that. Things that are rolled in where it can give the kids some early education, because I remember also learning about conserving electricity and things like that. And I became known as the one in my family to turn the lights off. But it has to start early, because once it's sort of embedded, people just do what they do.
So the bid is kicking off a marketing campaign, a PSA related to picking up trash. There's also a level of resource on 125th, a big cleanup team. So I think you're gonna see more of the posters, and I think it's a ballet dancer that's bending over to pick up trash. You'll see more of it. I think it's gonna kick off this summer.
I think, that's good, but I think specifically targeted education to kids work.
Yeah, we can bring that back.
Along with I like that arts thing though.
Yeah. Oh, Walter? Sorry, Darren, were you done?
There used to be a group of people on 25th Street, and I gotta even in the former school on 155th Street, because it turned into a shelter. That's what I forgot the name of the office.
Ready, willing, and able.
There you go. So they don't do that, right, they lost the contract for that?
I don't know, that's a good question, but I haven't seen them as prevalent.
The bid has a cleaning staff.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so instead of ready, willing, and able,
Yeah.
you'll actually see the guys with the oval, and it says bid on the back.
Oh, okay. Second question, I got an email today from 125th Street, but they're having a meeting Tuesday. And they were asking, did I have any suggestions of 125th Street? So my first suggestion was like the plaza where State Office Building is. There really needs to be some trees or something there so they can block this, because the sun is on, even if you're sitting on the benches, you're burning up because there's no shade. That's one. And number two, it's a dire need for bathrooms on 125th Street. There's nowhere to go to the bathroom. So these stores won't let you come in here if you're not buying anything, you know, so, and it's one. Okay, so I'm going to the meeting Tuesday, because I want to bring those two things up.
Yeah, I think part of it, is that the one at Native?
Native?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Hi, Tina.
On Morningside Avenue, there was a terrible fire. And not only were a lot of people displaced in the building, but a hip hop kind of store was at the storefront.
Right.
And they got completely burnt out. Does it take anything to help those in those type of situations?
What, in the corner 125th and Morningside?
Right across the street from the church.
Right across from the church.
Right.
It's a sneaker store.
Capsule, yeah.
Capsule.
Capsule, yes.
Right.
It was where MC Diner used to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a good question. I know that actually.
We talked about it, yeah.
Yeah, well.
There's some videos up on.
I think they got more water damage than fire, because fire was on the second floor.
Right.
Yeah.
And don't answer why the bid ends at one.
No, they didn't.
No, we didn't.
We're meeting with.
Oh, let's see about
So we'll ask
I
why.
had the same question.
Yeah, so, yes, Carl.
This is referring to like most of the garbage you're seeing, as you stated, is coming from a lot of stores that's being constructed all along, all down, including buildings torn down.
You say yes.
Near Fifth Avenue in Madison, where the dense place used to be, there's a lot of what you call drift garbage that's flowing all throughout the streets. It's not so much as people just tossing trash, you know, and a lot of it is coming from those buildings that have constructions in them. We got quite a few. As you spoke of Capsule, before Chipotle was open, it was a horror house over there by the
Metro North Fair?
yeah, right there by the train station, on St. Nick. It's a horror house. Garbage, dust, debris, you know, things that's
Also turn the morning.
Got it.
At the same location,
Yeah.
turn the car, they had a garbage.
Go ahead, Luquita, I saw you. And Luquita, you'll be the last question.
in addition to what the bid has for assisting the cleanup. What is it that the business in front, well, in a building, as well as the buildings on the businesses on the sidewalk required to do in terms of their cleanup? Because I think with all that working together, it can make a difference, but are they required? Is there a requirement down in their contracts about, at one time there was.
Yeah.
My understanding,
They are.
yeah, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
there-
issue at hand, I think when it came to like power washing, it was a touchy issue. The resource for water could be the hydrant, but the buildings cannot touch the hydrant. So it's kind of like a catch 22, and I think they're gonna work that out. But right now, there is a relationship between the big cleaning staff and the buildings.
The individual businesses.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And some of the businesses, the smaller ones, are possibly bad actors, not doing the right thing. And that might be one of the
And the
issues.
ones that are lined up along, the street vendors. There
Oh,
is
bad
no
actors.
requirement,
Yeah, certainly bad actors.
at least at one time there was.
Right.
Right, I mean, that's another,
All this.
a subject of another
Yeah.
kind, right, yeah.
Make a difference.
All right,
you.
let's stay with my phone. Oh, okay, that's it then, thank you.
Moving on, nominating committee report.
Yes, so far so good. We had, let's see, Sydney. Because of everything going on, Sydney
Yeah.
pretty ran the election, but she actually designed it. So we've worked together for the last 6 years in terms of elections, actually 8.
I don't.
Here.
So-
She has to turn on her camera, okay.
There she is. There she is. There you are, Sydney. We see you. So the election buddy, in a volunteer way happened tonight with, we had 17, 18 signed up. So thank you to everyone who signed up. All they had to do was receive the email and get a response. So Sydney, how did we do? I know I was.
You all are dying to know the results of tonight? Yeah.
Yes.
So I actually just want to let you know, I learned something important tonight is that we need to send an email out to all eligible voters to double check that they are getting the email and that they are checking to their spam to make sure it's a trusted sender, the election buddy.
Right.
That is a learning curve from tonight. And on the night of, I will be there in person with a computer. If anyone has issues that's present at the meeting and needs to do like just a tell me verbally the ballot, or they want to do it on a computer themselves and get guidance, we can be there to do that. So I will be there. But thanks for everyone who did it tonight. I'll show you the results. Why not? Right?
Sure. Total number, Sydney, of people actually voted.
We had 18 registered. We had all but 3 that were able to vote. 2 of them never responded to me, and then we'll get Merida in live and in person when she's there. Okay, Miss Dunn, we'll get you in person.
Okay. So 15.
Here we go. The chair officially
Yeah.
is the Honorable Donald Duck. The first vice chair is the Honorable Roger Rabbit with 8 votes. Yes, I know it was a big contention there. Yeah. Second vice chair. Oh my gosh, you guys. We had a 50-50.
My goodness.
Mickey Mouse and.
So, had this happened in real life, we'd have to do a runoff, but luckily we only have 1 person each thing. I was ready for a runoff if we ever had multiples. So, Minnie Mouse and Jessica Rabbit split the vote. And there was no, contention with the treasurer. Scrooge Duck won, but there was 2 abstentions. Apparently 2 people did not feel Scrooge McDuck was up for the challenge of treasurer. And assistant treasurer, was very close between Tweety Bird and Tom the cat. but the cat did win. So the cat has won assistant treasurer. There was no contention. There was no competition with Peter Parker here, but there was one abstention. Somebody does not have a Peter Parker fan here. And then finally, assistant secretary. Oh, okay, by 7-5, Bruce Wayne won over Clark Kent. So whatever, Marvel versus DC. I don't know who they are. I can't tell you, but somebody tell me.
They're both DC.
They're both DC? Okay, well then we didn't have a DC and Marvel and all these things. But. So congratulations to all the winners. Now, on a serious note.
Thank you. I didn't notice that.
Thank you, Sydney.
On a serious note, we look forward to doing this next week for real. And I do have a couple of little things Liquida and I will tweak.
And Victor, we need about 5 minutes or so just on June 18th. Just to do an introduction to let people know to be alerted for the email at 7 o'clock, and that voting will end at I think we said 8:15, but I don't know.
We can do it whenever we want. I believe we said 7 to 8:15, and people had to be in attendance by 7 for their vote to count. But that just means we want to make sure that we make sure everyone's there. Yeah.
Yeah, we need maybe about 5 minutes at the front and probably maybe 10 minutes at the.
All right, we'll work it
At there,
We'll
okay?
need 20 minutes after to review the votes and make sure we have any spoiled ballots and things like that not to count. But
All right, we'll move it along.
Yeah, but we'll do that. So.
and we'd like to announce the winners, after we're done with that. So there you go. That's it.
Yeah. Quickly.
Thank you. May I make a motion to table committee reports during the time, it's almost 9 p.m.
I second that.
Unanimous,
Send them back for today.
okay. There's a motion on the floor to table.
I
the
agree.
report
And the second.
made by Shanika and second by Dario.
Okay.
Great, okay.
So we have, just go through those red zones, not talk about it necessarily, but just.
Yeah, so we'll go on to action items. First one is intro number 1096. Retirees.
Okay,
Who's that coming
don't
from?
have, it's coming, we have 4 items coming from health and environment, and to tell you the truth, Ann Anesta contacted you, I believe that she is she's one of the, retirees from city, public service. And last year we did a reso, but that reso did not, pass.
Okay.
I don't, so we had to do it again, because a number of things just didn't pass with,
Right.
So, it's similar, but we're doing, instead of a reso, a letter of support, because she feels there are a couple of things that should be stressed with Medicare.
So this is a letter.
And I'll have
support
her
here,
there
correct?
next week, just in case, yeah, that's the letter.
Okay,
And then we might modify a couple of things too with that.
For clarity, so the 1096, is that going to, who is that going to? Our council people?
It will go to the council people, even others at the state.
What?
And federal, I think that even on the federal, but primarily the cities. But we're trying to get support.
It's in court, it's still in court, they
Yeah.
won all the cases, it's still in court, but the mayor keeps appealing it.
right.
So, but we don't have support from both of our local council people, from Brew and Youssef, right, so they should get it first, because it should go to city council. Now, I understand Adrian Adams is not too keen about it either, but we may be able to persuade her since she's running for mayor.
I think she mentioned Salam, maybe, there's a maybe
Okay.
there, so
Right.
we'll find out, and hopefully she'll be there next
Need to
Thursday.
get, well, Salam on board with us.
Yeah.
Or both of them,
Please,
both,
both.
Brew or so, I think, yeah.
Well, she keeps asking for use, if not a brand.
Yeah, she did. I think that there's more headway with him.
Okay.
And it's not that she doesn't want, or if there's anyone else on, this CB9 that has some sway, you know, through our committee, contact me and see, you know, if we can,
Once you get it done, I will give him
okay,
2-7, so I'm gonna call myself.
that'd be fabulous. Thank you, Chair.
All right, next.
Heritage Health and Housing. Okay, now Heritage Health and Housing, a longstanding community partner, full disclosure, I worked for them, so I'm not sure if I'll be voting specifically on this, but their letter is asking for support for a grant, New York Main Street grant, which we have approved in the past, and I know that I got 3 of the New York Main Street grants some years ago. They're looking for the Main Street grant to assist construction and development of 1649 Amsterdam Avenue. That was a forced move from 1727. And so they will need money to complete that. So that's basically what it is. And actually, Heather had given us a lot of language because Health and Hospitals went before Landmarks some time ago. So in the letter that you see, a lot of that language comes from presentations.
Okay.
And so in the committee, and actually it was circulated to the committee because we ran out of time and we had a quorum, we ran out of time. So the committee members sent in their votes and we have a yes in support of both of these letters from the committee. We have a majority.
Question for you.
Uh-huh.
With Heritage, do they have housing there as well?
Yes, yes, the top floors will have the supportive housing. That's another one you could have mentioned.
Exactly, housing?
It's supported housing.
Okay.
Actually, let me make it, it's either supported or supportive. I get them
Supportive, and they had a MICA group. They've been a horrible partner to the community. We've had lots of issues with the way they've managed that site. They've had a high number of 911 calls. That's a classic issue of their tenants loitering outside the facility. There's no monitoring, there's no supervision. So.
I'll mention that and we need some pledges. I think the same thing will probably happen even with it seems like there's something with all of these groups and there really needs to be good neighbor.
And we took a look at the 990,
But I will
their
bring that
EV
up.
is making $400,000+, which makes no sense.
Well, maybe what has to do with the other.
Yeah, it's a kind of a messy issue over there, but
We're looking for them to be good neighbors. I don't care how much he makes.
yeah,
They're good neighbors.
they've not been good neighbors.
I will bring that up. I brought it up to them once before some years ago. We'll bring it up again.
Yeah.
That might reflect on how we go forward with this. What our support,
Mhm.
we need to be good neighbors. Okay, let's just do that in mind.
Oh,
Okay, good. Next
Are
we gonna add that in NASA?
I
question.
think that's.
Oh,
No, I think she.
no. Heather, what did you say?
Yeah, the good neighbor.
You should add that into the, yeah, I think that's a good idea. Shaking your head.
Yeah.
No.
To the New York, to the letter of support that they agreed.
Yeah, something.
I have to find a way to.
Yeah.
Word it, nice.
Hopefully, something.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, the reestablishment of the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies. We supported this in committee, but primarily, I didn't realize that NASA had a division or department here in the neighborhood. They're right above Tom's Restaurant.
Right.
It used to be until a couple of weeks ago, right above, I think 3 floors. They have been involved with, on an educational basis, working with young people, interested, those with the STEM project, science, technology, something, math, preliminary math, engineering math, the STEM program. And basically, deliberately, Doge just came in and cut their dollars, period. So we feel that they are important to our community. It's from an institutional standpoint. It enhances us. They're connected to two of our universities. Course of higher learning. And we voted to support it. A question did come up.
Right.
Related to quantifying the district participation, like students and workers, staff. So I emailed that question to them. And I know Monique, we do want an answer because it would enhance. And Monique asked that at meeting.
So, Rita,
Some of them live in the community.
yeah, but then being connected with two institutions within the community, what are we supporting? Are they trying to get into one of these institutions to have their site?
They're trying to get, it's possible they could get that site back. Columbia University owns it.
Oh.
That's interesting. But otherwise, if not, they're somewhere in the community. But that's an interesting piece that Columbia owns that, and they're the realtors. So it's just something very interesting. Columbia capitulated to,
Well, they also probably lost out money.
And there was money.
$1 million.
Budget, yeah.
Yeah.
Their budget was cut.
Right,
They- So they're, they didn't have the money or the revenue to lease out the space anymore.
Well, they paid probably. as well.
Columbia, as a tidbit, Columbia claims that they're owed $3 million.
From this.
Well,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can I say that I spoke to the woman from that program, from that NASA program, and
Yeah.
she says that the lease was actually paid all the way through 2026. So it wasn't the fact that there was a lack of money, it was the fact that the lease was paid, but it was paid by the federal government. The federal government owns the so the federal government still owns the leasehold. So therefore, Columbia would be in a litigation with them or a battle with them if they try to let NASA stay, if the federal government is telling or the NASA to get out, because they have paid that lease through 2026. At least that's what the woman from that program told me the last time I spoke to her.
LeBron, and that was my understanding too, that the space was paid for. And yet there's no programming, so it's what, so it's,
they cut it ahead. They cut it ahead of time, yeah. Which is what those do.
oh yeah, but I have a space that's empty.
Right.
Which is,
But the issue is that they also, the space is empty, but someone has paid the lease that doesn't want them there. Right. So then Columbia even, I mean, it's not even a matter of capitulating because Columbia has a leaseholder who's told NASA that they can't be there. So then they'd have to move to evict them. And I think that would be an issue, you know?
They fully vacated?
because of,
But
yeah.
no, they haven't.
But yeah. Government is not what of science.
Yeah. I think in terms of this,
DEI and their motion, their motion move forward. Did they everybody go through? To move it forward, okay, and the last one. Oh, the fourth, number 4 is a carryover because we could not handle resolutions at the May meeting.
Right.
And so it's a carry, it was voted on before, we just have to remember to bring it up.
Which one is
And
that?
that is number 4, asking the question of Columbia has a smart
Yes.
center. And where they study, they're studying 5G towers and a number of other electromagnetic technology. So we're trying to get ahead of it, we being, something my question of it. Having them look into a study to gauge the impact of
Well, hold on. Well, I guess the meeting's over.
We lost.
Alrighty.
Hello, friends. We'll just have our own little meeting now.
Okay. Hey, how's everybody?
We can celebrate, Minnie
guys.
Mouse and Bruce Wayne. They'll probably be. I know what happened. They lost their connection in that room, and so they have to get back on. But
Yeah, I think it's time to be over anyway. It's 9 o'clock.
a long meeting. I did not expect 1727 to be there, so that was a shock. And
Absolutely.
the good news is that they are now forced to go through ULURP. The bad news is they don't think they need to work with us.
Well, that's
that seems really contentious.
That's why Mark and Abreu did what they did.
Yes, that's really 1727 is a main reason why I think Liz and I are gone. So
well, listen, you guys are still there, so don't worry about it.
we're still recording, by the way, but I don't care. It's true.
Okay. It's all right. I have a question though. I think Monique had mentioned about the community benefits grant. I was actually Googling it. Is there any way I can find out more information about that?
Oh, I don't have that information. Yeah, let's ask Yutha and Ashley at the office if they can help you out.
Okay, I'll call them tomorrow then.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. Hi,
All
Ted.
right, guys.
Night. I'll stick on just in case they come back on.
Oh, you think they'll? Okay, I'll stick on too.
No, they'll probably connect back.
They still have some resolutions. I think if you look at the agenda, there's still
They
some
do,
stuff.
and Dejan, I don't think you're not. Yeah, you're not a chair, so you're not officially needed there for the voting. But they'll probably come back on. I'll text someone real quick.
Yeah, because they have a full agenda tonight.
I don't have a lot to add. I only knew that about the NASA thing because I actually ended up stopping by when they were having some, I won't say it was a protest, but just they were kind of standing outside giving some information outside of Tom's Diner.
Yeah.
And so I ended up talking to the woman again, and she explained that about the lease. So that's the problem, is it's like the Doge, and it's funny because Doge is supposedly trimming the fat, but they've paid the lease. So they're really just trying to stop the research, right? So it's really a ridiculous thing. But the problem is, I think the problem they're going to face is that if they've paid that lease up, Columbia's going to have a hard time getting them out. You know what I mean? And if they're telling the people from NASA that you can't be in these promises anymore,
and
it's
Fiona, you are muted if you're trying to talk to us, but maybe
to me.
No, Patriana was muted when she was just trying to talk. I wasn't sure she was.
Oh no, I'm on the phone, so I'm listening to you guys, and I'm talking to somebody.
Yeah,
so
interesting. That's very interesting about the fact that the space is all paid up.
Yeah, so it's not a matter of money at all. I mean, I think they might have cut some funding to them, but the funding for the space, it's paid. It's paid through 2026, and I think they did that purposely, because if they didn't pay it, then they could crowdfund or do something and have somebody pay their rent or get grants from somewhere else. But since they paid, so by paying it, it means that they get to keep that lease. So even if Columbia would let them stay, they can't, right? So it's like very tricky. They did it in a very, very underhanded way.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to throw out a little bit of history.
Yes, please.
I lived for a period of time in 539 West 112, which is right next door to what was the Oxford SRO. And my sister had a room that looked directly across a courtyard into a room in the SRO. And she saw people shooting up.
Wow.
Subsequently, Columbia bought it, and the entire computer for sending our man to the moon was located there.
Wow, Ted.
And if you were to take a look at the computer that you have on your desk,
Yep, I'm on it right now.
it has more stuff in it
More
than the
memory.
computer that they had to send our guys to the moon.
Isn't that
Wow, that's a crazy thing, right?
Yeah.
This is why you are our historian, parliamentarian, everything under the sun. We love you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm afraid, though, that you're going to be throwing me off because I'm unable to come into the city.
Nah,
and
you're as we call grandfathered in. No.
okay, well, I
They can
appreciate
throw people
that.
like me off, but they can't throw people like you off. Um, I think I see that. Tell me how you pronounce it, Patrena, right? Patriana, Patrena. You are the host currently. If you want to make me the host, you can leave if you need to as well. But
I'm not the host.
no.
No, she's talking to Patriana.
Is it?
Okay.
I might be saying it wrong too. I'm reading. I think it's Patriana. She's probably on the phone like these ladies.
I know. Right? Anyway, she's the host right now, so if she needs to go, she can make us the host, but she has to do it. So, well, anyway, Dijon, welcome to the Crazy Club. As I'm still recording here, maybe I can pause the recording just so we can talk. No, I can't do it. I'm not a host. Anyway, welcome to the Crazy Club, right, Ted?
Yeah. Oh, Signet, I just have to say, I
If
tried.
you want to make me host, my dear, I can.
I tried to get
pause
hold
this
of
for a
you
minute.
after I found out you weren't reappointed.
Yeah.
I did get in touch with Liz.
Okay.
But I want you to know that I am absolutely shocked about this whole situation. And it just should never have been.
Yeah, it just makes absolutely, I mean, on the most the most kind plane, it just makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
On the most kind plane, it's very clearly a message being sent that 3 seasoned members would be all just not reappointed, both housing and a chair. I mean, that's not just because, hey, we look at all these sorts of different things. That's definitely a message being sent. So I'll say that since on the record. But we can talk more off the record, Ted.
Okay, well, you have my phone number.
I know. We had a little chat right after, and you made a very good point about, what's the point of a community board if we just can be removed willy-nilly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's the community voice in that? And my point is, we represent the community voices. We have a record of that representation with our meetings and our notes and our minutes and our resolutions. That's all from community backed feedback. And I would like to see the same from those that did not reappoint us.
Well, I want to go and say to you that community boards have been historically ways for city council persons who take positions that might not be so popular.
Yep.
Because they are representing the community as set forth by the community board.
Agreed. There are some people that are on that trajectory. Yep.
And well, no, the point is, though, that we have been useful to council persons for taking stances that they may not have wanted to take.
Take that flip.
And so they have flipped this over now. And, be careful what you want, because sometimes when you get it, it comes back and bites you. And that's what's gonna happen.
Yep. Agreed. Yep. Let me try calling, by the way, Yutha or Vic, and seeing if they want us to
Yeah.
or stop the recording or stop the meeting. And let me see if I can call Yutha, because maybe.
It's 9:14 now. They're gonna have lost a lot of people.
Well, yeah, agreed. Look at us, the tried and true, still on this.
Yeah, well, what does that say?
Hey, Dijon, do you want to come to our block meet and greet on Saturday?
Yeah, I sent you a message. You didn't see it?
Oh, did you send me? Okay, well, I was probably distracted by
Oh.
727.
So I said that I'm in Arizona right now visiting with my mom. I'm taking a red eye Friday night and I'll be back Saturday morning.
Oh, got you. Okay, good.
So I want to go and I'm going to try to go, but you never know, especially with the construction around JFK.
Well, I will
So
say our council member, Sean Abreu, is coming to answer questions after.
I saw your email.
Really?
I saw your email.
Where is it? Where's the meet and greet?
It's on our block on 150th Street between Broadway and Amsterdam.
Oh, at the garden?
Yeah.
Dr. G, and I was really, really close. I'm the president of the garden on 152nd Street and Frederick Douglass.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, we have a lot more in common than I ever knew. So
Yeah, and I get you guys emails about the May flowers every year.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right. We've met. We've met probably, right? We at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
But
gonna probably rain on Saturday, so.
well, don't say it out loud. You'll make it happen. No, I know, and it rained last weekend when we had our garden meeting, and we thought we'd get away with it, and then it started pouring like 10 minutes after. So I'm gonna risk it again because I don't have another location right now to do it, but we put up our sun's rain sails and then see what happens.
You guys have
We have bad luck again. We'll see.
Well, I got to tell you, we have had 13 Saturdays with rain up here.
Oh, that's crazy. No, it's been very similar to here, it's a guessing game. It's been very annoying, but when I needed to do meetings at least.
Where are you, sir?
I'm up in Vermont.
Oh.
If you take a look at Vermont and say it looks like a rectangle, I'm in the southeast corner. And what you folks with your gardens will be interested in is that I have planted my garden now, and I have my grapefruit trees that I started from seed when I was 6 years old. They are outdoors now. I've got a couple of grapefruits hanging from the branches, and they're so much happier outdoors than being indoors for 8 months of the year.
Nice. Well, we're an ornamental garden. So our thing is flowers and trees and plants. So the food garden is across the street from us. So they do tomatoes, greens, eggplant, all the usual suspect stuff, but we're more concentrated on plants. So we're only 3 years old, but I've been lobbying to have the garden since 2015. So we finally got it developed. And now this is our 3rd year, so.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And so you've got flowers there?
Yeah, I mean, when people aren't coming in to destroy them.
Oh, goodness.
Patriana, you can stop the recording if you're host, and they're adjourning the meeting right now. So.
Okay.
Oh wow. Okay, so I'm stopping.
They didn't even notice we weren't there anymore.
Wow.